Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Yet another conversation around mom life, parenting and Mutlokegi things. Mutlokegi is my son. If you didn't know his name, it means you're not subscribed. So like do the right thing, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that when I say no Mutlokegi, you're like, yes, that's her son. Yes, that's what's up. So today, it is raining outside. So if you see a flash or hear thunder, God is taking a photo of me, God is moving furniture, and He's wetting the gardens as well. Beautiful rainy day today, and I'm so excited to talk about food. So where is Mutlokegi today when it comes to food? Obviously, he has made a massive transition from 16 months to 22 months. Before, he still had a big part of his nutrition coming from milk. Now, majority of his nutrition is coming from food, and we will have a completely separate video where we talk about milk because it needs its own dedicated time. A lot of it is a personal choice as a parent. If you feel like I don't want my child to be having formula anymore or breast milk anymore, we will have a completely different conversation in a different video about that. Today is all about food. So where are we with food? Let me talk you through food, through Mutlokegi's day in eating. So on a typical school day, in the morning, he will have porridge. And we have given him a whole lot of options when it comes to porridge. If you check out previous videos, especially when it came to introducing solids, he would be having some of the porridges that say 6 months and up, 8 months and up. And you have all of your different brands from Purity to your Cerelac and your different brands that are available of the kinds of breakfast items you can do. But his standard day-to-day thing, we do an option of mabele, which is a baby's mabele, only because, I'll be honest, I don't know how to do it and I haven't been pushing his granny hard enough to make mabele, but I should do that. So you'll have mabele or motogo in the form of a pap type of porridge, which we started doing a baby pap type of motogo. Plus we still use the kiddies porridges. There are so many brands out there. Go to your Checkers, go to Pick and Pay, go to Spar, go to Woolworths. There are many brands. At this age, Mutlokegi is able to decide if he doesn't like something or he does. So it is a learning process. I try to buy a variety of things and try a variety of things, including oats. Sometimes he will, go and sneak some of the brand that somebody else is eating. So he's trying a whole lot of different things. Now, I did share before that at creche, they do give our kids breakfast. So you might be wondering, why are you giving him porridge at home if he gets breakfast at school? And it's a simple reason, because he takes daily vitamins. So he takes Zinplex just to protect his immune system, because yes, little kids pick up bugs and they bring them home and they get everybody sick. So he takes Zinplex Junior, the red box. Do consult your doctor. Don't just take this advice. I'm sharing with you what we do with our son. And then he also takes Rutarina drops, which are probiotics, just to protect his tummy and his gut health. He also takes Creche Guard. Many people recommend Creche Guard for your child that is starting to go to creche. It is a multivitamin but will help his immune system just adjust because he is still developing. Then depending on what is happening on the day, if he's sick and needs to get Panado or cough syrup or whatever else, where he's not like fully sick where he can be getting other kids sick, but that is the reason that we make sure he has porridge first at home so that he can take vitamins and it's sorted. We don't have to pack it and put it away and make sure the school does it. So when he gets to school, the breakfast varies between porridge and a whole lot of other selections that they give them. Then they have a morning snack which can comprise of a fruit or biscuits. I think they also do mini sandwiches, I think, yes. And then lunchtime usually is a meal, and the meal we're talking about can be macaroni and cheese, can be fish fingers and chips. Sometimes they do burger days, sometimes they do pizza, they do a whole variety of things. but they do make sure that they balance out and incorporate vegetables and fruits throughout the day. Then they have an afternoon snack, which again could be biscuits, could be crackers, could be sandwiches, could be fruit. And then he comes home to have supper at 5:30. And what he does for supper, I usually go with the general rule of his plate must comprise of a protein. So that could be in the form of chicken, meat. We don't keep seafood in the house because of my allergies, and we're avoiding contamination. So he can do that when he's visiting other people. Unfortunately, with me, we don't keep seafood in the house. So meat, or it could even be eggs, sometimes even chicken Viennas. Then the second thing is he must have a complex carb on his plate, which could be noodles. He loves noodles, he loves couscous. I alternate the couscous between corn couscous, whole wheat couscous, normal couscous. Sometimes it's rice. I do white rice, basmati rice, brown rice, wild rice, jasmine rice. We switch it up each and every time. And then 2 veggies, of which one is a yellow veg and one is a green veg. Do we sometimes make an exception? Yes, because real life happens. But I cheat the system, and let me tell you how I cheat the system, because I try to make sure that at supper time he's having a wholesome full meal. So I cheat the system by doing meal prepping. I probably should do a video of meal prepping because it has saved my life. Sometimes what happens in the household, because you might be wondering why are you still talking about your child's food separate from your own food? Isn't he big enough to be eating all your food? Yes, he is. The problem is we are not consistent in how and when we eat, but we need to make sure that he remains consistent in how and when he eats and what he is eating. So his whole system remains consistent, so that if I have a day where I come home late and I'm having pizza or I ate somewhere else, my son will always have a full, nutriently box-ticking meal. That's why. So majority of the time, yes, he can eat whatever it is that we're eating if cooking has happened, but sometimes work gets super busy and I love cooking and I enjoy cooking. I want to make sure that every time Mukoklechi's nanny, Auntie Sue or Auntie Barbara, whoever's on at the time, is able to just open the fridge and he has a meal. So let me talk about my cheating before I get to the meal prep. One of my cheats, guys. Woolworths and Checkers do it really well. They have kiddies microwave meals. And what I love about them is that they incorporate veggies. So for example, your spaghetti bolognese. I nearly said bologna. That's the other one that gets made for adults. But that one is that the mince has veggies in it. Even at Checkers, the little kiddies meals, they incorporate veggies. And Mukoklechi has had them enough that we know which ones he likes and which ones he doesn't like. So we usually opt for the ones that have vegetables, meat, and a carb. Like one of his favorite ones is the one that has rice and chicken and broccoli. And another one is the one I'll speak about with the mince and the spaghetti. But you can also get the cottage pie one, which is the mince and the mashed potato. We don't really stay close to the ones that are just macaroni and cheese, because that's like a starch and cheese. But sometimes we make an exception. Why? Because sometimes you pick your child up from school, and because you are sitting eating whatever it is you're eating, maybe it's slab chips and a frankfurter, your child will dive in. So let me come back now. The shortcuts. You've got the microwave shortcuts, and now the meal prep. So what I try to do with meal prep is I've figured out what are some of the foods that are easy to just cook in bulk, and then you pack and freeze them in tiny little containers. And then what I'll do each time I do that, and I haven't done it all in one go because I don't have the time, but I'll take time on a Saturday or a Sunday. I will cook a nice family-sized pot of, let's say, pumpkin or butternut and sweet potato mash. I will cook it and then immediately put them into little containers and freeze them. Then I'll cook a pot of green beans, and I will boil, maybe do a little bit of butter and a little bit of herbs and some salt, make it flavorful, because our child is not eating bland food anymore, he wants yummy food. And then I immediately pack it into little containers and I freeze the food. And then when I'm making a big meal, because I'm already hosting people, the trick that I've taught myself is to be like, this chicken stew is so nice and tender, so I will immediately put a drumstick and a thigh aside with some of the sauce and gravy, and maybe I'll even just cut it up and freeze it into small containers. I'll do the same with rice, I'll do the same with other things, so that now he's got a stash in the freezer where we don't have to go to Woolies or anywhere else. You can save costs, you can prepare in advance. If, for example, he's going to visit his grandmother and his grandmother says, I haven't cooked, akapecha, or he's going to an aunts and uncles, you're not worried about your child eating a fully healthy meal. Yes, sometimes he has bread for supper. Sometimes he has eggs and bread for supper. Sometimes he has sausages and chips for supper. But we're not trying to make it the standard. So his health does not rely on how healthy we are eating in the house. And that's primarily why, if you open the freezer at any given moment, you will find frozen stacks of meal prepped foods, which I've done for Mukokeki. The great thing is, he has been introduced to a variety of cuisines. Thai, Chinese, Indian, obviously African cultural food that we are accustomed to and eat regularly. There's some things he hasn't tried yet, like masonja. We have a bucket food list of things that Mukokeki needs to try, but he loves food. I can't even off the top of my head think of things that he genuinely doesn't like. He went through an obsession with blueberries, and when I say obsession, I mean he was asking for blueberries that he refers to as bluebies when they were properly in season, which was like December, January, Feb time. Bluebies to the point that his diaper came out looking like one massive black bluebie. But I think once he noticed the flavor was changing, he wasn't so into it. He would say sour. So he went through the bluebies phase. He loves chips, his snacks, so we try and stock up the food with healthier snacks. But yes, there are other not so healthy snacks. We don't allow him to try popcorn just because we think it's a risk. Also, popcorn isn't great for teeth, and I'm not trying to figure out how to floss my child's little teeth. But anyways, that's the update with food. That's where Koki is at with eating. Ask me any questions that you have. I will put together a video of how I meal prep. Fortunately, Koki is not yet at an age where he's refusing things like broccoli and green beans. He's not yet in a picky eater phase, and I hope it doesn't get to that point. So I haven't had to cook in a way that I sneak in vegetables. But I make my life easier by making a stew that incorporates vegetables so that everything is like a one-pot wonder. But I'll share with you some of the tips and tricks of what I do. The trick to it for your child is to figure out what is it that my child likes and enjoys. Sometimes it reaches a point where your child starves because what you're putting in front of your child, they just simply refuse to eat. And the doctors have even said to us, for example, when he didn't have an appetite and needed to take his antibiotics, she was like, even if you're going to give him Dizimba, please give him Dizimba so he has something in his stomach. So we're all figuring out this journey together. I love that he's enjoying trying out different things. It helps that I have a food feature on my radio show. I always make sure when I come home, I bring different things for him to try out and taste. But what I have to tell you, the best part right now about Koki and eating is now he can say, nice noodles, mommy. Nice noodles. Thank you, mommy. And he still prays before eating his meal. He sings, thank you, father. Even when you give him a snack, and now he can say, nice mommy, and he'll say, thank you mommy. So that's what's happening with Mukokeki and food. Put your questions down below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.